Are we genetically predisposed to finding our perfect mate? Is it in our DNA? Charles Darwin brought us the theories of natural selection and the survival of the fittest. These theories led some researchers to conclude that the process through which males and females go about choosing a sexual partner may be genetically predetermined, and that we are not aware of it. I decided to ask my friends a few questions regarding this theory to draw my own conclusion.
The first impression would definitely be like physical characteristics of a person. But then once you get to know someone, I think it's more so like their personality and what kind of person they are, not just what they look like.
I think stability is a good thing. Like, you're not going to find somebody who's like can't stand on their own 2 feet.
I think it definitely changes from person to person. Different people look for different things in a person. I think physical attraction has a lot to do with it in the beginning. I think that kind of draws you in. Yeah, you become attracted emotionally.
And the emotional part is the one that's obviously the most important. Like, the physical is what might draw you to the person, but overall, you know, when you get to know the person, that's what keeps you together.
I look for someone who's a lot like me. Most people look for someone who's a lot like themselves. I think that's like kind of like a psychological kind of thing that's proven.
I've always liked guys that were taller than me and bigger than me.
I don't know. I mean,
Weak.
strength.
Obviously not
Strength isn't a huge thing with me. It's mostly just, I mean, like I said, the tall, the eyes, if you're a kind, you know, person, and that's what's most important.
Researchers also found that men prefer women that have a certain body ratio. Researchers were able to conclude from a study conducted in Africa in 2007 that women with a waist-to-hip ratio of 0.8 are more sexually attractive to men.
Media has really drilled that into everyone's brain and stuff.
It has to be related to the media.
I think that's kind of like what we see in the media, what like everybody perceives as like being beautiful.
I guess, I mean, I think essentially as far as like historically it has to do with childbearing. I think women who were voluptuous, we'll say, were considered to be healthy.
While the media plays a role in what the ideal woman looks like, these researchers in Africa found differently, that women with a waist-to-hip ratio of 0.8 are to be more reproductively healthy because it suggests the woman has a better chance of successful childbearing. Way to go, Kate!
That actually has crossed my mind, picking, like, when I think of the future, picking someone that can have, like, the ultimate child, like an athlete or a genius or something like that, something, like, super hybrid. But then I laugh at it because I think, like, it shouldn't come down to that to make you, like, a choice.
I mean, yeah, I think obviously people want their kids to be healthy, but love has a lot to do with it, too.
I don't really like look at a guy and think like, oh, he has good genes, I want to be with him. It's kind of like you go off of if you're attracted to him.
I think there can be benefits. I think as far as, like, you know, dealing with diseases and things like that, that might be an exception, but when it comes to, you know, the looks and aesthetics and things like that, I don't think we should tamper with it.
Other theorists of evolution believe that romantic love alone does not hold up for a couple. They have found that humans seek particular mates to solve specific adaptive problems that their ancestors confronted during the course of human evolution. Basically, humans want their offspring to be the strongest and the most likely to survive. It is not something we do consciously, but it lies within our genetic makeup. Although controversial to some, the theory of evolutionary sexual selection should not be ignored, as it may aid in technological advances such as gene picking, which, however, if used the wrong way, might lead to an unintentional genocide of certain human characteristics. If this happened, would we find ourselves in the midst of a new and improved 21st century Holocaust?
When you're having kids, like, you want them to not be judged by people in society when they're growing up, so you probably want them to look a certain way. I don't think I would ever do that because it kind of like takes away the uniqueness of your, like, of being a person. Like, I mean, if people would do that, everybody would eventually look pretty much the same.
You're literally playing God. I just think it's crazy to do that, and I just kind of personally I hope that it doesn't become something that's a natural routine.
I think think our society is so diverse, which is why we've come as far as we are. I think if we start limiting out genes like the gay gene or anything like to, you know, create your own child, I think it kind of limits our possibilities as a society. I think being so diverse, it kind of, we get like opinions from like all different people, and that's why we're like such a strong community.
So, what does it all mean? At different states in our lives, the signs of love may vary. Dependence, attraction, contentment, worry, loyalty, grief, survival. But at the heart, the source is always the same. Human beings have the rare capacity to connect with each other against all odds.